So it's time to start today's panel discussion, and joining me are Ali and Josiah. I'm Dr. Audrey, and this question has come from Josiah. How do we deal with the current cost of living crisis? So let's throw it over to Ali, and what have you experienced? What have you seen in your work and in the people that you come across with the cost of living?
Yeah, so I work with students. I work with international students in the education sector. I'm working at university, and yeah, it's a real challenge, because university studies are very different from when I was there, when it was more about the studies, and now it's a case of you study but you feel like you have to work as well, and everything's more expensive. And what food do you eat? You find people skipping meals or not eating in the best way they can to nourish themselves, because they're just juggling so many things. It must be so challenging. They're over here, they're international students I work with, they're over here on their own. Some of them perhaps are maybe too proud to ask for extra help from the parents or something like that. And they're young. They don't have the wisdom and the experience that we have of learning how to manage and being in a different country as well. It's a big thing.
It can be, absolutely, and then that can really affect their ability to study, and that has repercussions as well. I mean, Josiah, you've got some ideas of what could be done, and actually these are quite big society changing ideas, which I think are very powerful.
So from experience, right, so how it started for me is that when I moved into my house last year, or my new house, there was mint growing in our garden, and it was like, we don't have to go to the store anymore to buy mint tea. So let's try not buy that again. And it got to a point where sometimes your algorithm feeds you with things that you don't normally watch, just to give you new things to watch. Like, you might be interested in this. And obviously these would be videos about growing things at home for me. And I started off with spring onion because I thought, why not? And I saw that it grew really quickly in water. I tried it and it actually grew really quickly. It grew moldy because it wasn't in soil. So I just planted it in soil, and it's been growing really, it's like this tall now. And I use it I'm gonna start using it soon in my meals. But also one thing that we can try to do, especially no matter what class we're in, our financial background, if we don't have a garden, we can buy pots as well. Not condemn the seeds that are in our food or the reproductive abilities. Like, if you see potatoes sprouting, what you can do is you can cut it and eat it. You can cut the roots and eat it. But if it's sprouting, you can plant it either in water or in a ground in a pot, and a few months later it will start to grow. It will be ready for harvest, but obviously you still have to take care of it. Like, it comes with like a lot of things, like carrots. I've got carrots growing in my room. I've got lettuce growing downstairs. Like, I just took the bottom bit and just snapped it from the main one, from the green bit, the leaves, and then I just planted it and it just started growing. So I think once we start off having that self-sufficient mindset of, not trying to just spend pounds and pounds and pounds at the store, because it's gonna hurt our wallets essentially, and it will come back to bite us essentially. So we need to have that mindset that we shouldn't go to the store for certain things if they're willing, if the things we buy are just gonna grow anyways. Like spring onion, it grows in the fridge even when you cut it.
You're true. Yeah. And but your point is really key there, because this is about not just looking after the environment, but it is about teaching people different skills. And this is something that I found as a teacher, and you're probably finding this uni, sometimes we teach young people skills for a world that doesn't exist anymore. And actually what you're talking about is not only going to be preventative for cost of living issues because you're growing your own food, but the act of gardening, getting out into nature, is preventative for mental health.
I was just thinking exactly the same. How brilliant for mental health, because getting out in nature, doing something. When you're in the moment and you're doing something, then your brain's not thinking of other things. Growing things, how amazing! I just hearing you talking about it, I thought, wow, why had I never thought about doing that? You know,
And for those who don't really struggle with cost of living, like, you also have to think about other people as well. Like, not everyone has it like you, so maybe you can have a change of mindset or heart and just be like, I'm not struggling, but the people next door down the road are struggling. You might have a lot of space to grow things, and you could just be like, wow, let me do this, let me do that, because essentially you are helping out your community and as well as you're saying mental health as well, because you're not worried about other things as well. It's so much rewarding too when you eat the fruits of your labor.
It is. It's that empowerment as well. And whilst you're talking, and you're absolutely right, I think Ali and I are at a similar age. One of the things I know our generation likes to say, and we are not necessarily representatives of this, is, yes, but it's not going to affect me. It will only affect my children. And you are right in pointing out we can't just have that attitude. We have to be compassionate for other people, and we have to take a social responsibility. Again, how do we teach our generation that responsibility?
One way to help teach them that is if you actually start by being self-sufficient, you can teach them ways that they can be self-sufficient too, because what if the people that you know aren't self-sufficient?
Yeah.
And if they gain something from you that you've taught them, and if they take it on board, they're like, okay, I want to do more of this. I
might listen to more things. That's it.
They'll take your example on board, and they'll want to go to you for more things.
How would a uni respond, do you think, Ali, when it comes to saying, let's add this to the curriculum? Let's add something a little bit like PSHE in schools. You know?
I think it would be fascinating, because you've already got my brain working on things. I'm thinking about almost having kind of allotment areas and things like that,
yes,
where the students, where they're growing things together, they're sharing. Therefore, as well, because it's fresh vegetables, it's stuff you've grown, it's giving you a sense of worth, all those things. It's a really, really good idea. And you've also made me think as well, I know round where I live, there are allotments around there, and, people do give food away perhaps, but do they give that food away to people they know that don't necessarily need that food, or would that food be better given to other people who need it more?
Connecting with a food bank or connecting with a charity or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
It helps the students have life skills that they wouldn't have, because it's all good knowing how to grow cress in school, but it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. We need to know this. We need to keep doing it in order for us to actually not only enjoy it, but to do it ourselves when we're older.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness. And it's something that businesses also need to think about as part of corporate social responsibility. It is about sustainability. And we're not just talking about, sustainability and let's get green or anything like that. We are talking about true sustainability of the environment, of the world that has given so much to us. We need to start giving something back. So let us know in the comments, or let us know on the show if you have other ideas for that true sustainability and empowerment that also boosts your mental health when it comes to the cost of living.